All right, welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. Today I've got a special treat for everyone. I've invited one of our friends, colleagues, and amazing people to the podcast, Clare Mokdissi, and she is the manager of the marketing joint and working with cabinet makers, joiners, people that run joinery businesses, people that have busy lives and try and fit too much into their time and their schedule kind of explodes. I thought maybe we'd pick your brain a little bit here today, Clare, around scheduling and how to create that balance in life that everybody's kind of looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your experience so far, and then jump into, what are we finding with scheduling and time use amongst the people you're working with?
Yeah. So I guess my experience so far at the Joinery Coach and the marketing joint has been an amazing one. I feel like we've been collaborating with so many different joiners, and I think that something we see across the board is people that struggle with finding that work-life balance. I think usually if they found themselves in this higher position, it's fair enough to assume that they're not just in joinery because it's, something that facilitates their hobbies. It's usually a passion of their own. And I think when we find that when work and passion kind of have that overlap, it's hard to disconnect, and it's hard to find that break where you can say, okay, my work life is to the side for a little while. I'm going to have some focus on my personal life and what really helps me to tick away so I can kind of turn my brain off, be present with my family and my friends, and then get back to work and give it my 100% when I'm there. So that's something that I think we'll talk about a little bit in this podcast today.
Yeah, I think it's a great topic. And one thing that we've talked about a fair bit too, I think that elusive balance really never happens, does it? It's always an unbalance one way or the other, but it's a matter of, do we get it back the other way when it needs to be?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
What are your observations, Clare, when you see people that are either unbalanced or getting back balanced again? What are your general observations so far around this?
I feel like when you have that disconnect and when you might be all into work for a period of time, you're not going to be giving it your all. And it might seem like that's something that you are doing because it's getting, 20 out of your 24 hours. And when you're at home, you're there about 15%, but your brain is elsewhere. And you might be feeling, a bit proud of how you're going, like I'm making such strides at work, but you might not be making strides in the way that you want to. You might be really focused on something and it might be consuming your brain at 100% of the time. But if you were to allow yourself that downtime and you were to kind of get back to running at your
optimal level.
Yeah.
And I think it's true, right? Because if you work for too long in any space, you just burn out. You just sort of, one thing I know about you, Clare, is you're an incredibly creative person. So from your own experience, like how much does, working too long without a break, how does that affect your creative abilities as a person?
It will pretty much shut you down completely from a creative aspect. You're going to be able to do, little medial tasks. You might have a to-do list and it might be very basic things. You might be getting back to customer responses. You might be doing something that, anyone could do. But what sets you apart in your role is when you're able to really take that step, be creative, step into a place in your mind where you can thrive and it's, what makes you the best person to do what you do. But if you're feeling weighed down, it's going to be near impossible. I know for myself, if I'm having a time where, my to-do list is a mile long, I'm not going to be giving each task my all because my head is going to be in 10 million places at once.
Yeah.
So I think it's about making sure that, you have your schedule really, really organized. And that way, when it's come up in your calendar, okay, here's my focus for the next hour. You can give that your 100% for the hour. There shouldn't be anything else going through your brain. You can give your all to that one task, be creative with it, really step into that space. So that way you can thrive and really, work to your best capacity.
So would you say that the scheduling, like the actual planning of when you do tasks, would that be one of the keys to creativity? And I kind of ask this because I remember years and years and years ago, before I committed myself to letting my calendar tell me what to do. And I committed to, hey, that's much easier if I just do what I'm told.
Yeah.
But when I talk to a lot of people about this, their concern is, I started a business so I could do what I want. I can be creative and do whatever I want. So I don't want to be constrained by any set schedules. But in reality, it kind of kills your creativity, doesn't it? Because then you become blanketed with everything you need to do all the time, every day, rather than having. So you probably have seen people that do it really well and people that don't do it really well, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. And what you just said is, I started this business so I can do what I want to do when I want to. If you don't have a schedule, you're never going to be able to do what you want to do, because something that would have taken you an hour if you sat to your schedule and you got it done in that allocated time could take you 3 days.
Yeah.
And when you are stepping away and doing those things you want to do, you're not going to be doing them, with the right heart and the right mind. And your head's going to be everywhere because you're thinking, oh my goodness, I need to get back to work. I've got 1,000,001 things I need to do. If you did them when your calendar told you to do them, you wouldn't have this problem. And you could have nothing scheduled from 3 o'clock onwards in your day and go off and, go and see your family or pick up your kids from school or go out in the sunshine and have a nice walk. So I think it's super important that you've got that schedule in place and you have those strategies to make sure that you can maintain a healthy work-life balance. I think for me, something that really comes down to is time blocking. Time blocking in literally every single second of your working life. Even you can time block your personal life in.
Yeah.
If you've got lunch, schedule it in. If you want to do a morning meditation, schedule it in. If you've got, a certain number of clients or a certain number of staff and you need to meet with them, schedule it in, and it could be months and months in advance. And that way, for those hours that you're focused on work, you're running on that, you're giving everything your all, and you're really not having to think too much about it.
That's one of the things that I've said a lot over the years is I know that I've had success in business when I can have coffee with my wife at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And when we're having coffee, it's not like, okay, I've got 10 minutes and then glug, 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 coffee's gone and then I'm back to work. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is we can sit in a cafe for an hour and a half and feel no pressure because that time is blocked out. Like everything else is being looked after. I'm still busy in those other times, but I feel like that's kind of this is the key level of success. And working in the marketing agency, Claire, you probably are exposed to people that have their schedules and their time really well organized and people that still have some work to do in that space.
Definitely, yeah. And it's something that can even come across in how well we can do their marketing. We could have clients that are really on the ball. They built in the photography into their process. They have an awareness of their clients. They're tracking all of their leads. Everything is firing on all accounts. And then you've obviously can have other clients where things can slip through the cracks. You can feel that they're really weighed down in terms of, their communication or their processes. And, it's not to say that those people aren't doing an incredible job and they're probably super focused on one aspect of the business and ticking 101 boxes for that because that's where their head is. But I think, it also can come down to your scheduling. When are you assigning those times to get everything done? When are you ticking those boxes and where are your priorities as well?
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is all really interesting, but I think one of the questions around these types of conversations that we should probably put on the table is why is this important? And I think the why it's important could possibly come up when the effectiveness of what we do. So with you're working with people that want to market their business. We want to attract great leads. We want to attract great talent. We want to just showcase our business to the world. What a wonderful thing, right? If you have a business and you've got this opportunity to show the world how amazing you are, what a wonderful thing. But I would imagine, Claire, that when you're working with someone that isn't in a mind space where they can talk about that creatively, even the marketing doesn't come across the way it should.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to almost being able to articulate yourself. If you're even in a meeting, you might be in the meeting with the team from the marketing joint. And it might be time to say, okay, tell me a little bit about your business. What's your strategy? Where do you want things to go? And you might be so into the nitty gritty in your day to day that you don't take that time to step back and reflect. You might not even have thought about that since you first started the business. It might be something that's so far removed from what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
And I think it's something to really be aware of. And when you're present in that and when you're thinking, okay, why am I here today? Why do we do what we do? What am I here for? everything you do has purpose, and it's going to really enhance your creativity, and it's going to enhance the precision in your work as well, because you're going to have that bigger picture in mind where you're thinking, great, like I know exactly who I'm speaking to. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. When you can communicate that with us at the Marketing Joint, it's going to make our job as well a million times easier, because we can make your content, super, super strategic and specific to speak to those people that you want to attract.
Yeah.
And reel them in for you.
And get the results that they're looking for in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of it can just come down to being really tied down and having that creative block that can come with having too much on your plate.
So I'm going to throw you a question. This is a throw Claire under the bus question. So let's say that we've done a great job. We've got even from the coaching side of things, we've got a member in the Joinery Coach program working with their time blocking, and they join the marketing agency, and they're now able to sort of focus on things. And we would ask them to take a top-down view of their business. We would ask them to say, we want you to look at the business. What are the things you're asking them to look for in the business that's going to then start filtering into the marketing content? What are you wanting them to pay attention to in their business that maybe needs some work?
I think for me, something I always ask is, who is the absolutely ideal person that you'd want to bring in? What's your ideal customer? In a perfect world, be as, almost impossible as possible. Try and think about, okay, if someone was to call me up, what's the perfect conversation they could have with me? Who's that person?
Yeah.
What's different from the customers you have now to the customer that you want to have? And then I kind of start thinking, okay, what are the steps we can take in terms of your content, in terms of your website, in terms of your lead magnet to get you there from where you are right now?
Yeah.
So you might have somebody that says, oh, we get a lot of tire kickers. We get a lot of people who don't have the right budgets that we're looking for. Or we get a lot of people that are far out. We spend a lot of time in travel. So who would your ideal client be? It's almost like a little bit of a manifestation exercise.
Yeah.
They're thinking, okay, in a perfect world, what would I be dealing with on a day-to-day?
Yep.
And that's one side of it, could be the client side of things. Then you can also think about it from a recruitment side of things. How do you want to position your business so that you're bringing in incredible staff? How you're bringing in people that you want to work with every day and that are going to have a caliber of work that you're really happy to show off.
So showcasing the team and what it's actually like to work here and what the business is actually like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So you're actually attracting talent to your business that might want to be part of that.
Yeah, and that can even happen organically for some of our clients too. It might not even be a period where they're looking to have somebody come in, but you might position yourself as such an incredible place with an incredible team. You're producing beautiful work, that this stuff can also almost happen organically.
Yeah, I think that those are two really good things to think about. Like, who's your target client, and are you actually attractive to that target client? Some of the websites we've made recently, when you just look at the website, there's a family in a kitchen. Who's their target client? Young families wanting to renovate their kitchen or build a house and have this amazing kitchen. And when that target demographic or that client lands on that website, they go, oh, that's me. That, but it's not showing a commercial building, an office.
Absolutely.
Do you think that the other side of it, where we're talking about what are you really great at? A lot of businesses, particularly joinery businesses, where they're great at doing anything, they can do kitchen. How important do you think is it to be exceptional at one thing that stands out on the website or your marketing content?
I think it's always good to be super focused on one thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be super, super specific, but if you've got that niche, it's going to make your marketing a lot easier, because again, we're going to be reeling in those people that are ideal. Yeah. And that's not to say you're going to exclude everything else. It's not to say that, I only do this one very niche thing and that's all I'm here for, but you can become specialist in that field. And that way our marketing can really attract someone who's looking for that specific thing. And it's going to make your process a lot easier, because they're going to know, okay, I'm not going to have any issues with this person because look at the incredible vast array that they're doing with this thing that I'm looking for.
It really is about attracting to begin with, isn't it? Because if you're really exceptional at something and you're known for that, then you attract people to that. But like you say, then that expands into other things as well, because you're not just doing that one thing that attracted them there in the first place. You go into a pizza shop and you don't just buy a pizza, do you? You buy the salad and you buy the drinks, buy everything else. But you were there for the one thing that they were known for, which might have been their pizza. I
Yeah,
don't know what it is
people love
about pizza.
pizza.
I keep using pizza as an example. I don't know where that comes from.
Maybe
But
you haven't had lunch yet.
yeah, maybe I'm hungry. But it is true, right? Attraction-based marketing is the only way to go these days. And when it's done well, like you guys do it exceptionally well, it really has some amazing results.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can also help, from the brand owner's perspective. Again, thinking broadly, they can take that step back and say, we're really good at this. We enjoy doing this. Our team, they're experts. I feel confident. I know exactly what I'm doing every day.
Yeah.
They don't have to kind of and ah about what they're exactly getting up to.
So think about, of all the clients you've worked with over the last X number of years, who would be the perfect client that you would want to work with? If you had that choice to do that every day, who would it be?
Exactly.
And who is the perfect employee to be working in your business? What type of person is that?
Yeah. We live in a world, and we're really lucky that these are options for us. We're not being idealistic. This can happen. It's just about making sure that we know exactly what we want and going after it. And that's something that, that's really what your marketing's for. We're trying to attract the people that you want.
Yeah.
It's not about, I need to make sure I'm getting X amount of leads. I need to make sure that I've got money coming in. It's that too. But we're going to make sure that, those leads are of a quality, and those leads are of the niche that you guys specialize in. It's like, I always say this, I feel like I've said this in every podcast that I've been on, but it's like, throwing out bait into the ocean, and you've got rotten bait. You're not going to catch the fish that you want.
Yeah, or the net, right? You just throw a net and you drag in what you get, and then that's what you got to work with.
Yeah, and you spend half your time filtering through it. You might find something that looks good, but it turns out that it's not. It's always good to be super, super specific. And yeah, like we've said, that doesn't mean that you're being exclusionary. It doesn't mean that you're cutting yourself out from work that could be coming in. Those people will still come. But it's about making sure that, you're specific. So that way the majority of work that you are getting is the work that you want to have.
And it's okay to be exclusivary too. Like if you want to exclude the D grade clients or the terror kickers, that's okay.
Yeah.
We really do.
You should.
So to go back a few steps and to summarize here, what we're really talking about is to get your business humming and flowing and working exceptionally well. I think, Claire, what you're suggesting is we need to have structured days and weeks and months so that you're not overwhelmed with everything that will potentially create or completely crush your creative juices. And the ability to think outside the box and make the business. And when we do get people that are well structured, then those are the people that you have exceptional wins with, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, it really shines through when people have that balance between their work and their life. They've got their schedule intact. We know that, okay, even when we're speaking to them from a marketing perspective, this hour that I'm chatting to you, I know you're going to be there in a creative mindset to focus on marketing. And then you're done with me, you can put me out of your head. That's our job then. We'll tick away at everything else. Then when you're stepping into another part of your role, or when you're going home at the end of the day, you're giving that 100% too.
Yeah.
I think that's something that obviously we're never going to get it perfect. We're never going to find that we're 50-50 work and home. There might be times where you're giving work 70%. And that's okay too, but we need to make sure that, we've got that balance, which is going to enhance your creativity and enhance your precision in your work.
Yeah. I love the way you look at that. And it's so true that when you have, you go into a meeting or you go into a workshop with a very specific goal, the very specific topic, and you're not distracted, your phone is off, or even if the phone isn't off, you're ignoring it. We all suffer from this. It's such a problem in society right now. And like you say, to be able to go into these business growth type of workshops and focus, really, really important. And it comes from being structured and organized with other things.
Yeah, I feel like it's something so important, especially as the world becomes more online. And we might be doing things, you might be communicating with people over Zoom or over the phone and things like that. It's easy to become detached. And it's easy to kind of feel like, okay, like everyone is just a face on a screen. I'm the only real person here. What I want matters. And and these people are kind of just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's just a cog in a machine. If you take the time to really be present, look at people in the eye when you're speaking to them, or when you're speaking on the phone, get up, walk around, really listen to what someone's saying. You're going to get to the results so much quicker.
Yeah.
Because you're both hearing each other. You're both listening to what each other's saying. And that way, okay, I've done this conversation. I've had the points that I wanted to get out of it. Every box is ticked. We're all sorted. And then I can move on to whatever's next in my day and then give that my all. I'm not in the next call now thinking, okay, I've got this, and that to do from the previous call. That's not actioned. I'm going to have to meet with them another day. Or you're home with your family and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I just remembered I had to do that, and that. If you've built it into your process and you've got that really, really clean schedule and everything is super time blocked, you're not going to feel that pressure. I mean, you might, but it's going to be a lot less.
Won't be as much pressure
built in.
Yeah. This is a really good conversation because we often talk about just getting the work done faster. We've got to get that kitchen built quicker. We've got to get the work out the door faster. But it all kind of plays a part, doesn't it? Good insights, Claire. I love chatting with you about this. I think listeners will find this little snippet really interesting and useful.
I hope so.
Anything else, Claire, that you would leave us with? Little words of wisdom from the people that you work with? Observations of those people you work with?
I just think to keep in mind that it is an ongoing process. I mean, you can take the insights from what you've heard today and you could apply them, to your craft and to your life, and make sure that, you're just starting off small. You might just start off, okay, I'm going to time block this week. I'm going to see how I go. I'm going to make sure if it says in my schedule, I'm having lunch now, I'm going to actually get up and have lunch now, or I'm going to go and, have a circuit breaker. I'm going to go outside and sit in the sun for 10 minutes. Actually do it. And see how it feels to kind of let your calendar take control of you for a week and see what kind of work you're doing. Because I feel like it's really, really easy to get weighed down in it, especially, when it's your own business and you feel like, okay, if I don't do it, it's going to fall to the wayside. There's no one else to pick up my slack. Super, super important to kind of feel like, okay, obviously you're setting your own calendars, but I'm being managed this week. Let me just do what I'm told and see how I go.
Yeah. Good bits of advice. I love it.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, thanks, Claire. I always enjoy having you on the podcast. And again, if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about what we do on either side, join the Facebook group is a good place to start. Mm-hmm. It's a Joinery Business Hub. And of course, we have websites, don't we? themarketingjoint.com. That's where Claire lives. And joinerycoach.com. Either way, you can get us. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out. Thanks, Claire. Really appreciate you and what you do. And it's great to see the great work you're doing with clients as well.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, we're lucky to have such incredible clients that produce such beautiful work. Just, always great to be on the pod.
Awesome stuff. Have an awesome day. We'll chat with you soon.
Alrighty. Talk to you later.
Cheers.